personal, real way. But I know which one he'd pick if he had to do it. It'd definitely be third down and whatever. But I thought he did a great job. Great job.
What does this? It's just so odd to say. What does this mean for Oregon? Because Oregon has accomplished so much. But I guess what does this mean for Oregon? Is this another notch somewhere in the?
I guess so. I think if you have your punch list of things as a program, the most iconic individual award would be the Heisman Trophy. But like Marcus said, I know which he trade all that to win as a team, and then by the same token, this is done as a team. Just as he said, and whether it's the scout team defense or the real defense or everybody in our program, we played a part in that, and he truly values that. Yep.
Do you think he's the best quarterback in Pac-12 history, comparatively?
I have no idea. Matt Leinert's outside. He might want to have a debate.
Coach, just real quickly, before he was talking about writing the speech, and he said how he just has to thank his teammates and how the teammates really helped him get to this point. What does that just say about his character? What does it say about his character?
I think it's revealed. I think he truly believes that. It's not just hey, I'm supposed to say this type of a moment. He motivates those guys all the time, whether it's the scout team special teams, the scout team defense. Being around that guy, you get better, and certainly on the field, absolutely off the field. He's a great representative for the sport.
You don't worry about him on the banquet circuit gaining 30 pounds.
Yeah, he better work out between them. Yeah.
But he's not a guy you worry about with focus. It doesn't look like it.
No, he'll be right back to work, and he'll be so excited. No offense, to be back out on the practice field, rather than doing interviews. And the most awkward thing for him is to talk about himself, and so that's why it's simultaneously really emotional, but also kind of fun to watch him struggle with it sometimes.
What did you think of how he kind of really acknowledged everything about Hawaii and where he came from in his speech and in here?
That's a huge part of who he is, and maybe all. In a lot of ways, it's the basis for all of what he is. It's his family, his culture. Proud people, very loyal people, hardworking. Just all the things that he's exposed about himself comes from that background, and it was a great tribute to every culture.
The recruits going to just flood to the islands looking for the next Marcus.
There's nobody else there. You can tell them. There's nobody there. Tell them. It's too. Yep.
I think that sense of Ohana has really infused the team in a new way now that Mariota has been there.
I think it's I think we have a great relationship with Hawaii in that way of when we were there the day after the Pac-12 championship game. It was amazing. There was myself and two other coaches and people everywhere. Are stopping to talk about Marcus or one of our other players, and it's a neat relationship, and it's hopefully can be along with Oregon or their home state. Yeah.
So Jeff is his backup. Jeff hadn't had any meaningful time quarterback in this year.
Not a ton.
Yeah.
Not a ton. Yeah.
He's the only other quarterback on your roster that's played, right?
I mean, there's guys that have played, but significant snaps.
And just not to get too far ahead, but how would you describe Jeff's talents?
My goodness, it's got ball play. Jeff is he's kind of if you're going on the quarterback scale, a little bit more point guard distributor type of mentality. He can run better than people give him credit for.
Right.
But had a great high school career and just hasn't been called upon to this point.
When you're sitting there watching his name get called, everyone, obviously all the cameras are on him, but what's going through your mind as you hear your quarterback get his name called for the Heisman Trophy?
Well, it was a great moment, I think, and he encapsulated it really well in his speech. Just all the things that go into it, his story, his background, his team. I truly believe that's why he came back, was for his teammates, and to get to this point, not because of it's an individual award, but because you have to be a great team to get here. And just again, really excited for young people to see that kid and have that guy be their role model, and that would be great.
He said he would trade in all these awards for a win against Florida State, and that just really shows what kind of guy he is. What's the toughest part about preparing for a national champion like Florida State?
They're really good. Yeah, I mean, they're at this point, all 4 teams in the playoff they're really good. And it's not that they have one side of the ball or one player. Everybody's good in every phase. And certainly when you sit down and start watching Florida State, they're really good across the board. And that'll be obviously mission one is getting back and getting to work. And Marcus will be very excited about getting back out on the practice field and away from a microphone for a few days.
Because of the short time frame between the games, do you always have to scout 3 teams in this next month?
A little bit. I mean, you have to. It's a weird situation. It's kind of like a basketball tournament or something where you have to survive in advance, to use the phrase. But that's the most important part, is advancing. We'll treat it just like we would another game in the season, as far as our GAs and those guys that start to break down the video for both of those other teams. But yeah, you have to. Our whole focus, other than that, will absolutely be in Florida State.
How soon do y'all go to the Rose Bowl?
On the we're gonna travel on Christmas night.
Okay, so you're there about
afternoon.
a week.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone who perceives the Oregon program as kind of an also-ran anymore, or a team on the rise. I think you put yourself in that conversation. But can something like this, even for a program like Oregon, kind of almost like a sea change in perception, or do you think it changes how you guys, the glass ceiling, so you kind of burst through after near misses?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question. I think you still have to win national championships. It's kind of like the argument of, is the SEC versus all these other conferences, until the other conferences step up and win a few shiny trophies. The argument has validity, and so it's great for our program. Very, very happy for Marcus, for his teammates, and then I don't know where that other stuff will weigh in.
What is it worth to you as a head coach? Is this something that you say will open up more doors in recruiting? Is this
couldn't hurt? Yeah, and I'm sure it's not. People aren't going to not be interested because of a Heisman Trophy. So if that opens a few more doors, great. But like you said, I think that the wins and the team and all that stuff is those are always the bigger factors. Guys are more interested in places that have a plan for them and are successful in terms of wins and losses.
Now that you're one of the 4 teams in the inaugural playoff, would you want to have it expanded to 6 or 10 or somewhere even further?
I think the biggest thing with that is the pathway to the playoff. I think that's something that has to be addressed. There's different conference schedules, different championship scenarios, whether it's an 8-game plus a championship, 9-game plus a championship, or no championship. I know there's a lot of TV contracts and all that other stuff out there that has to be dealt with, but I think that's the biggest challenge is making everybody's path at least to the point where we can have an argument of, okay, it's 8 versus 8, it's 9 versus 9, and then also we have to worry about the student athlete in terms of just the wear and tear. These guys are playing a ton of games. Also, you have to look at the families that are trying to travel all these games, and being able to subsidize that, I think, is something we should look at. So there's a lot of stuff that's above my spot on the flow chart.
You don't talk to anybody at 1AA, Division II, Division III about their playoff structure.
We talked about that a little bit in the off season, kind of in our master plan.
Yeah.
It's they're still, it's a little bit different, right, just in their conference games and all that stuff. But it's kind of building our master plan. We did consult with a couple of those programs.
With the Power 5 and the way that the conferences are spread out, do you see realignment coming up more in the coming 5, maybe 10 years?
I think it has to. If people do want to go to an 18 playoff or whatever it ends up being, I think that's the only way it can happen, is if those, whatever it's called, the autonomous 5 or whatever it's called, if they agree on it, because obviously the Pac-12 has TV contracts. Each individual conference has a contract, some are 20 years long, and the only way those can be broken is by realignment. So I assume that would be the only avenue.